Nigerian nurse in the UK who made one fateful decision that ended in tragedy. A story of loss, desperation, and the high cost of neglect. But it is also a cautionary tale for anyone juggling the pressures of work and parenthood, especially for Black workers, immigrants, or anyone who feels the weight of trying to do it all alone. So here's the scenario. Imagine this. You are a single mother, 28 years old, living in a foreign country, working as a nurse and trying to make ends meet. You have a newborn baby, only 10 weeks old, and every day is a balancing act. On one hand, you need to work to provide for your child. On the other hand, you need to care for this fragile little life that depends on you for every little thing. This was Ruth's reality. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If today is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe. If you are returning, guys, thank you so much. Today we bring you a story that will leave you shaking. It's about Ruth Elter, a 28-year-old nurse in the UK who made a series of tragic decisions that cost her baby's life and changed hers forever. Let's dive into this heartbreaking story. Ruth moved to the UK from Nigeria, working as a nurse at the Royal Bolton Hospital. At 28, she was also a single mother, trying to balance her demanding job and the care of her 10-week-old baby, Joshua. Like many parents, especially those living far from home, Ruth faced the daily challenge of balancing work and childcare. But one day in May 2024, Ruth made a tragic decision that would end in the loss of her child and eventually lead to a prison sentence. On that day, Ruth had no one to care for the baby, Joshua. While she worked her 8-hour shift, desperate, she left him at home in her flat, wrapped in layers of clothing and bedding. She hoped he would be safe while she was gone. But when she returned home at 3:13 p.m. after her shift, she discovered Joshua wasn't breathing. Panicking, she called for an ambulance. Despite all efforts to resuscitate him, Joshua was pronounced dead just over an hour later at 4:40 p.m. The medical experts couldn't definitely say what caused Joshua's death, but they suspected he might have overheated due to the layers of clothing and blanket he was left in. Other causes couldn't be ruled out, but what was clear was that Joshua had been left unattended for far too long. Rather than tell the truth, Ruth made another devastating mistake. She told the police she had dropped Joshua off with a childminder before work and brought him home afterward. She claimed she fed him, placed him on her bed, and fell asleep beside him, only to wake up and find him unresponsive. But there was one problem with her story. The evidence didn't add up. CCTV footage from her apartment clearly showed Ruth leaving alone at 6:47 a.m. and returning alone at 6:13 p.m. without Joshua. To cover her tracks, Ruth even sent frantic text messages to the childminder asking her to lie and say she had watched Joshua that day. But the childminder refused, telling police she hadn't seen Joshua in days. Ruth's lies quickly unraveled. My question is, doesn't she know that if that childminder agreed to that, the death of that baby will also be on her head? If it was me, I definitely was not going to agree with that. Anyway, in her police interview, Ruth refused to answer questions. But by this point, the evidence was clear. She had left her newborn son home alone for over 8 hours, and tragically Joshua had died. Facing charges of child cruelty, Ruth was arrested and brought to court in May 2024, where she pleaded guilty. But instead of waiting for her sentence, she took another desperate step. On June 6, 2024, Ruth was arrested at Gatwick Airport, attempting to flee the country with a one-way ticket to Nigeria. It seemed she was trying to evade justice. Her plan failed, and Ruth was brought back to face her punishment. On September 10th, just a few days ago, at Bolton Crown Court. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison for child cruelty. The judge remarked that despite her position as a nurse, Ruth had failed to show the care and attention her baby needed the most. This just reminded me of the lady who left her baby inside her apartment, her house, 10 days as she went on holiday to have fun. This baby died inside the house. And the worst thing is, this woman came back home, washed the baby, dressed the baby up as if nothing happened. How wicked can this? Oh my goodness. How wicked can people be? Anyway, as we reflect on this tragic story, there are painful lessons to be learned, especially for working parents. Ruth's story isn't an isolated case. Many parents face immense pressure to provide for their families, sometimes with little to no support. But this story serves as a reminder that we cannot afford to ignore our children's needs for the sake of work. No matter how overwhelming the pressure to earn a living, the safety and well-being of our children must come first. If you find yourself in a position where you're struggling with childcare, it's crucial to seek help from trusted family, friends. No job is worth risking a child's life for. And I repeat, no job is worth risking a child's life for. For Black workers and parents, especially those in foreign countries like the UK, the pressure to succeed and provide for loved ones back home can be immense. But let this story be a cautionary tale for you. The cost of neglecting those closest to us is far too high. And not just that cost, you lose that baby forever. And on top of that, you will also lose her license in the middle. If you're working parents, consider setting your emergency plans for childcare. Keep open lines of communication with your employers about the challenges you face as a parent. It's their responsibility to look after you too. It's their responsibility to give you leave if you cannot go to work. I know the NHS is tight. I know they are short-staffed, but you also have to look after your children. And most importantly, don't hesitate to ask for help, whether it's from your family, a childminder, or support services. Your child's safety must always come first. Let's honor baby Joshua's memory by ensuring that no parent ever feels so desperate that they make a similar mistake. As a nurse, she should have known the dangers of leaving her baby unattended. As she begins her sentence, she must now live with the consequences of the terrible decisions she made that day. It was stated that she has failed to even show remorse throughout the case. She misled police about her childcare arrangements and then tried to evade justice by attempting to flee the country. In my previous video, I mentioned and gave a warning to parents who are moving from Africa to the UK or any Western world, especially those from Nigeria. Most of the parents who are coming here on care worker visa. If you're coming here on a care worker visa, please, I've pinned this video up here. Carefully watch it. If you have children, do not bring them, because you are expected to work. You are expected to stand up to those standards to work. If you come here with your children, you will not be able to look after them and work at the same time, especially if you don't have any support channels close to you. That is how difficult it is. Back home, you have aunties, you have sisters, you have neighbors. They can look after your baby. If you pay them something, sometimes you don't even have to pay anybody anything. They will look after your baby for you. But here in this country, in the UK, you do not have anybody. You are all on your own if you don't have any family members here. Therefore, you need to pay careful attention. You need to take these things into consideration before you aim to come to the UK to work. Because these are the things that are going to happen. You are going to be the middleman. You wouldn't know what to do. It's either your children or the job that you have come here to do. But my advice to you, never, ever, ever leave a child at home. Even my previous video, a mother left her children at home, went to a night shift, the fire alarm went off, they couldn't turn it off, the neighbors has to come in to help them turn it off, and at the end of the day, ended up calling the police. They took those children away, and now they don't have any form of parental care anymore. they are going to be given to somebody else, or I don't know what's the end of those children. So guys, please be very careful. If you are watching this video and you know that you are leaving your child at home and they are underage, please refrain from that. So I rest my case here. If you found this story powerful, please consider sharing it to help raise awareness. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. Please share this video and create awareness. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. It's your girl Susu here. Until next time, bye bye, peace and love.